Hello everybody, Jet here, and welcome back to my Beastmen campaign. Now, we spent the last session growing, and we were going to attack Grimhold again, but we have the vampires. We've attracted the vampires' attention, which I don't necessarily want to be doing. While I probably can take these, I don't want to get into a situation where I have to spend a load of turns falling back again. So we're just getting ourselves back in order, and then we're going to be jumping over the mountains. Now we are actually getting a bit low here, so we are going to be jumping over the mountains in a couple of turns into the elf territory to start raiding them. Okay, so let's end turn and see what happens. Now if the vampires do sneak up on me here, I'm in a good position to actually just whack them, basically, because they're because they can't see me, so there's every possibility that I will get an ambush off, especially with my newer horde, which is very nicely. And at the moment, I want to really start pushing out that newer horde and getting it in a good position. But you see, these vampires, they are so powerful. And there you go, and we've failed ambush, because we've got two big hordes attacking here. That is a very nice, easy auto, and we are going to eat them. So we're chewing on the remains of the undead. It's probably not the most appetizing meal we got there, but you know, anything we can take. I'm not going to complain. Now this army does need to start moving soon, because you can see it's taking attrition now. So I need to actually get them moving into territories where I can start being aggressive with them to start building up their bestial rage. Because when your bestial rage is too low, you, as we discovered in my previous campaign, you start taking attrition due to that. However, it's not too bad just yet, but eventually it will get worse and worse and worse, because my horde is getting restless. So we're going to hop over those mountains and start harrying the wood elves and start burning through their settlements if I can. Now, I'm going to stick close to the mountains because I may get into a situation where I need to pull back very, very quickly. Though Bretonia does seem to be pushing the elves back as well. Okay, we will go for a military alliance with the Red Horn tribe. We can always break that later on, and there is always a possibility I can possibly get a confederation with them if needs be, which would get me an extra horde for free, which is always going to be useful. Okay, so we've gained nice trait, which gets him some extra defense against magic. And there you see, these guys are suffering now. And they're taking a lot of damage for this. That would bring them back up, actually. Can I? Yeah, so we're going to quell animosity for a turn. What happens if I don't do that? Just we are also waiting for these guys to be completely ready as well. Once these guys are completely ready, we will be ready to jump over those mountains and go on the offensive. Okay, we are actually getting low on things I can spend there, so he's probably not going to go down the red tree particularly far. But we've got a lot of very good abilities with him. Extra movement range, always extra movement range. And let's move these guys up and closer and keep them raiding, however. Oh, and we're actually getting quite a lot of money out of raiding here, even though it's only a new settlement. So, or are we still in the Orcs lands? Oh well, we're still in the Orcs lands there, but never mind. We're not going to be annoying them for too long. Okay, let's end turn. Now, hopefully, the vampires will fall into the same trap again and charge up. So we shall see. And once we've the dwarfs have lost another settlement here actually, but once we've pushed through, we're gonna try and clear through the dwarfs. We're probably powerful enough to start actually bashing the vamps a bit more now, but I don't really want to be taking them on just yet. It's because that's a lot of armies. While I could probably win the battles, it would put me in a very potentially tricky position. I want them to leave Van Army there. Leave Van Army. That's perfect. So now I can drop in. And you know what? I can potentially even go for the Oak of Ages, which would be a really big coup for me to get. Because that is obviously one of their most important settlements. If I take that out, I cause a lot of damage. And there is Mr. Krokgar, who is going out after Queek. Now, Krokgar is a very, very powerful legendary lord, so he can possibly cause a lot of damage to Queek, and he's somebody I probably want to be keeping an eye on, because if he starts expanding too much, I don't really want to get in his way. And the vampires down there are definitely beginning to lose now, because the Crusaders are expanding nicely now. However, again, I'm not really that worried about them. And the Red Horn tribe are getting themselves battered there, so I might try and throw a confederation out with them next turn. I kind of wish, while I can speed up time, I don't necessarily care as much about what's going on down here, but I'm forced to see it, because, I mean, I can speed up, but, oh, they're confederating to get bigger as well. While I can speed up, it's not always the best thing. Oh, I could try and get some ambushes off. No, we're not worrying about them at the moment. We are going hunting elves. Oh. How long? I was sure you could use this to get over mountains. In fact, I've done it before. Yeah, I can. Why couldn't I not see it to start with? And bang, we are in the middle of the Elven territory now, with some very nice strong hordes. Why is he missing a unit? He's missing some archers for some reason. Never mind, that's not a huge issue. And now we are going to start burning through the Elven territories. Now the question is, do I hit their big army first, or do I try and clear through? We'll work that out. The dwarfs are definitely suffering, which probably means the Empire is suffering as well. If I can smash the elves, while I'm not necessarily that upset about the elves, so that's where that rogue army is, up in Empire territory, which means the Empire is definitely suffering, guys, which I'm obviously terribly upset about. That is a lot of vampire armies. I possibly could have hit them a bit to try and protect my my friends, but no. We're going to smash the crag halls next turn. We're going to get ourselves in raiding stance, because here we will start taking attrition here. I don't think I want to go for that interception, as I've only got one army. So they have gone back into there. So we'll put ourselves into raiding stance next turn, and we'll work out where we want to go within here, because I can start smashing settlements. I can potentially take on that army as well. Ooh, so Krokgar is pushing into the Lizardmen territory. I know how fun it is to fight the it's pushing into the Skaven territory. I know how fun it is to fight the Skaven as the Lizardmen, because you are so powerful comparatively that you can just pressure and pressure. So that is a horde up there in the Empire territory. which is actually in camps. It's not necessarily a horde. I'll go up and have a look next turn, because that does look interesting. So Stelia, they are dealing with red horns. I forgot to try and confederate with the red horns. That was silly of me. We can still try next turn, because they are hidden there, and we can start trying to sneak them up, or we could just build them up into their own horde and then try and rush them towards us before they get destroyed, if they confederate with me. And here's the Doom Seekers, who I can now see, who have moved on, so I now can't see. Let's actually try and interact with them. I want to see what their leader is. Oh, I got a wound. One of my guys got wounded. Right.
To war!
So he's a dwarf. However, that doesn't mean that he's necessarily very... This army's necessarily got lots of dwarfs in it.
You may speak before my shield. Fine.
Okay. And let's hit the Waterfall Palace. Let's encircle there. So this is what I wanted to do. Now, actually, let's... you know what, I'm going to leave that. So this is now a very easy auto. And we're burning it to the ground. So that's got us some nice level ups. And we've burnt that settlement to the ground, really, which will be giving a... well, which will really be helping us, because it's going to have damaged the, obviously that's going to have damaged the, elves quite a lot. We're levelling up, so we're getting our mages leveled up now as well. So which army lost its, these guys lost their beast lord. However, these guys are now taking attrition, but that's not necessarily a terrible thing. And we're going to start moving our way around. We will get forced into a battle at some point. Obviously, Bretonia is there, so I do want to pay attention to them. They're not at war with me at the moment, but they definitely won't like me. So let's just check.
This night.
So he's actually got a trade agreement with the dwarves. And it's Avaland has taken here. What an odd alliance. At the Redhorn tribe. There you go. So that's got us another horde. Oh wow, that was not a horde worth getting. Yeah. So I'm just going to try and move him up towards us and keeping him hidden and out of the way as much as possible. Though I doubt he's going to make it. A lot of beast pathing about the place. Effectively, it's a horde which doesn't require me using growth to get it. I was kind of hoping they'd have been alive for a bit longer, so it would have been a little bit bigger. The orcs do seem to be suffering now, which is a... Okay, so I just basically suicided the Redhorn tribe. Never mind. Oh no, they are still alive, so I can still get them out of there. I might just move them off into Queek's territory and just leave them there levelling up for a while so they're out of the way. So So that rogue army now seems to have a different lord, Cobalt Knucklebreaker, who definitely doesn't sound like a dwarf, which is interesting. Some of these rogue armies can be very interesting because they can be a very odd mix of units. Now the fun thing now is if I chuck all of these guys into encampment stance, nobody can see me in here. Right, we'll work out where I can get to next turn, because I would like to also hit Vorl's Anvil. And basically, I'd like to smash central all of these places here, because if I can smash all of here, the High Elves are done. They will be completely done for, which means I am in a very, very strong position, because all of these little territories the elves have taken will start falling off, because they will have lost almost all of their armies. Well, Outdorf is surrounded by vampiric corruption. That's how much the vampire counts have been pushing in this campaign. So I could almost, at this point, leave the humans alone, and I think I would probably still win, which is definitely interesting. It's not what I was expecting to be happening. So there's the Doom Seekers again. So let's look at the Doom Seekers again. Oh! Okay, so these guys are friends with me wherever they are. Anyway, let's look at the Doom Seekers again.
One rug.
This is another dwarf who's in charge of them. Let's see if I can actually see anything of their army up here. No. How big is this army? Oh no, you want to be put back on... Oh! You want to be put back on that. And let's start raiding into this territory. And we are now on a positive income here, guys. Okay, which one do we want? Oh, we can make an ally cause fear. That's good though, that's straight just increasing my recharge rate. Where is our little horde down here? The little horde that tried. He is just going to try and link up with me if he possibly can. Oh, where is this? Oh, and he's not going to last long, let's be honest, but we'll see. So we are still blitzing through turns a little bit here, guys, but I'm where I want to be. My herds are having good fun, tramping through the wood elf forests. We're gonna, and burning their cities. It looks like Bretonnia is going for Vorl's Anvil, which is very good for me. The orcs do still seem to be able to push a little bit, but I don't think the greenskins are going to be alive for long at this rate. Though they might still have some little holdouts in other places, because they do seem to have confederated quite a lot. They are something I might be trying for my next campaign, actually, guys. If you do have any recommendations for my next campaigns or requests, please feel free to chuck them in my comments for future campaigns. I have been asked to try the Greenskins or Bretonnia by somebody, so I will give one of those a go if nobody else asks. They are both factions I'm not particularly good at again, so as last time, guys, I'm not promising it's going to go brilliantly, but we'll do the best we can. And my last defenders here, got a feeling they're going to start just cutting through that Skaven territory, because Krokgar especially, he will have an army full of Saurus warriors, which is very difficult to defeat as Skaven until you're high end, because the low end Saurus warriors are still very... I mean, I still use them in my top end armies in my Lizardman campaign, as you will know if you've been watching, so... And Karak Zorn, who still haven't... I'm surprised they've not confederated with the rest of the dwarfs yet, actually, but we'll see. And the Damps down there are really not lasting particularly well. And the Doomseekers, who seem to be a weird dwarf clan. They could just be straight dwarfs, sometimes they are. But it's a dwarf horde, which is weird, and I think they've just got themselves wiped out. So they've just attempted to block my army. Yeah, the Doomseekers got destroyed. So here's this other clan. This one looks a bit better, if I can persuade them to confederate with me. Well, that's good. So actually from confederating, I got better upkeep. And let's go hit Vol's Anvil. So actually by holding in one place, they are really benefiting me here. Though I might need to spend a few turns recouping shortly. Right. So let's start buffing up his damage. Let's keep buffing the leadership. And you can go for your wind spell. Okay, so we are devastating the centre of the Wood Elves now. These guys are still suffering. However, these hordes are all building up their bestial rage again nicely. I do need to try and get the other ones doing a bit of attacking though. Though if I can get some Bray herds out as well, that will be really, really nice here. I mean, I can just keep that aggression on. Okay. Let's have a look. We've got all of these. Where do I want to be going with this guy now? Wound Maker, straight up. And how many turns is it? 2 turns until the full moon. Okay, so I'm hoping we're going to get a regeneration one with the next moon, so I can use that to get my armies back up to full. I think the elves potentially realise they're in trouble now, because unlike other factions, they still can't just conquer anywhere. So all of these places outside are effectively just little, what's the word I'm after? They're not proper settlements. I don't know if other people can settle in the woods, but I know the other places outside of there are just encampments for the elves. They're effectively outposts, that's the word. So they're not hugely, there's not a huge amount they can do from there, and all of their income actually comes from their centre and buffs they get from their centre. Oh, they've managed to block one of my armies there, so that is something I do want to worry about. I'm going to run away. I do not want to be fighting anybody with that army. He's dead. Oh well, that's not the end of the world, guys. I wasn't expecting to get Gore Dweller out of there. However, if the elves chased him even for a turn to stop from coming this way, that is beneficial for me. So and we are shredding through all of this Wood Elf territory here. And once we've cleared all this and burnt the Oak of Ages as well, guys, if I can burn that Oak of Ages, that is really good. Because that completely puts down the elves and gets rid of a humongous amount of their buffs. Which means they will, while they'll still have some big powerful armies out there, I can potentially just sit back here and wait for them to come in. Now, actually no, the other High Elf faction, Wood Elf faction isn't on this map. There is another Wood Elf faction down in the Southlands. However, they're obviously nowhere near here, so they're not something I necessarily need to be worrying about at the moment. And we've got the other horde coming in as well, which is useful. Do nothing, I don't want to be losing my bestial rage. And an extra nice big chunk of money, and we are now done on all of our techs. Now they have blocked one of my armies, so I can't do anything with them. That is infuriating. So my other two armies are going to pop into encampment stance for a turn, just to get a little bit of regen, and then they will be the first people to attack when we do push on. Come on, you want to confederate with me? You know you do. Though I probably can't get it until that's done, and we've got a moon next turn. Okay, so it's now end turn again, and then next turn we will start pushing on. And you can see here the chaos corruption coming out in these in this land from me rampaging through the Wood Elf lands. Fortunately, I think the Orkies are on their last legs now, so the Dwarfs are going to finish them off, and it's going to be the Skaven and the Lizardmen. Sorry, the Dwarfs and the Lizardmen pushing on the Skaven, so I don't think Queek is going to last long. He flourished after following me around, but unfortunately I just don't think he's got himself into a safe position. The vampire counts are huge, so I do want to be careful around them, but I'm not massively worried by them. Oh, that's perfect. They've just made the perfect move there, because I can now go and hit the Crag Hall potentially with my other forces, though the Oak of Ages is now protected, which is more important to them. But if I'm taking out these other things, their income is going to be plummeting. Galbaraz. So they are still held up nicely, and they are still... So Skavens can... This is the odd thing about Skaven. It's always tricky to work out how strong they are, because they can push out army after army after army, but you can't always tell how powerful they are, because some of the Skaven armies are... They're not big, they're tiny little... Well, they're big, but they're not big at the same time. They're, no... They're very weak units, if you see what I mean. So, it's always an interesting thing. Okay, so bounce back to us. I'm going to take the replenishment. And we're going to hit the Crag Hall. Who's my lowest? So you can lead it. And the other ones can raid into the territory, because that way they don't lose as much. Oh, and you can rejoin. Which horde were you from? Now we have a... Oh, that wasn't the right button. Ooh, we did actually lose a couple of units there, though. It's not a huge issue losing a couple of units just now. I do need to get... I want to try and get the bestial rage up of all of these guys, however. Simply because that's going to keep them going for longer, and it means I can take the time to recoup. Because my bestial rage is all a little bit low at the moment. Right, so we've got... Let's see... We've taken that buff for everybody. Causes terror is always good. See, all of these guys are increasing now. So we'll hold here one turn. We're going to spend a couple of turns regenning no matter what happens next. Anyway, guys, that is the end of this session. So I do hope you have enjoyed it. Next turn, we're going to try and finish off the centre of the homeland of the Wood Elves. At which point we'll decide where we're going next. It's either going to be trying to finish off these two little places, or potentially I might just try and push up into the remains of the Empire, try and smash them, work out where I want to go. But I do want to pay attention to the vampire counts, and I might potentially want to try and take them down a peg or two. We've got a nice bit of income here as well, so see, we're losing bestial rage from these as well, which isn't good. However, we will lose them eventually, which I probably shouldn't have been doing, so I want to try and get people like these guys confederated. Anyway, guys, as I was saying, that is it for this session, so thank you very much for watching, guys.